Sorry, my wife told me I couldn't be on the news, so. Mike Jayette, Little Fox Lane. I love this town. I see the police here, and I just want to, these things have been so horrific, including Cheshire, which, you know, to me, that was the most horrific thing for Newtown I've had in Connecticut. So I worry about that. And just to tell a quick story, so when we first moved to the town, my son was 1. He got the phone, he was hitting random numbers on the floor, picked it up, I put it back in the cradle, and by the time I turned around, there was a police car. Yeah, this is a safe town. They're great. But I agree with the last person who said, you know, we still, people, if guns are going to be legal, and we're allowed to defend ourselves with them, let's be careful of protect privacy of the citizens who have them. I think that's important. Otherwise, people would be a target. I mean, I would not have guns if we're trying to public. So that would be taken into account. Also, if we're going to go forward with storage, which I think is important, I think anybody here would be obvious that the people in the house have access to information. So I agree with that, but the same thing, if we're allowed to defend ourselves with guns, let's not have storage. There's ways to have safe storage. I think almost everybody can do that. Let's not implement to the campuses.
Thank you.
Andrea Karen, Phantom Hill Road. I just wanted to express my opinion that the idea of imposing more restrictions so that people feel like they know what's going on in my house and that they approve of what's going on in my house, I have a real problem with. And also, there's almost this sensibility that I'm getting that you really think the guns are going to disappear. The full search and seizure, you're not going to pull back the guns. You might get some, yeah, but I don't know. There's this vision, I think, of what is going to happen that I don't think will happen. And also, we were talking about the mental illness, which I do think is the worst part of it, but I think it's a societal issue. I think it's multiple things that we can't get our arms around. It's easier to point to smaller things where you can pass a law. But I'll tell you what, my daughter's 23. The kinds of kids she went to school with in public schools are not the kind of kids I went to school with. And the things she had to sit next to in class, because these kids who are antisocial and fairly violent have every right to be there. The same as the kids who obey every rule and are very socially appropriate. That's the problem. And we need to get our hands around that. And I'm not talking about mentally ill people. I mean, it's sad. Yes, it's sad. When people are broken, it's sad. But when they're antisocial and they go out there imposing their problems on other people, that's what's got to be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you for your last call for Weston residents. Okay, I will open up the floor now to non-residents if they would like a chance to speak on this. I will remind you, however, that I will ask you to limit your remarks to how this ordinance impacts you directly. So please, let's keep the conversation away from what's happening at the national level, but what I'd like to know is how this is impacting you. Thank you.
Okay, hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming here. I'm from Greenwich, Connecticut. Pretty much the point that I would like to make here tonight is I was born in Mexico City. It's a country that was very corrupt. Okay. I was born in Mexico City. It's a country that when it comes to firearm laws, it's very strict. Pretty much Mexican citizens, they cannot protect themselves. Who has the firearms? Criminals. So pretty much a criminal always going to be a criminal.
And how does this impact you and the town of Weston?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm also proud to be an American. I'm a U.S. citizen. I have a concealed carry permit for the state of Connecticut. For me, in order to get my concealed carry permit, I had to go through the municipality, through the state, and through the FBI. I'm mentally suitable, and I had the proper training for me to own firearms. So I think the issue here is the conversation that we're having here tonight. This should be left to the state and federal level. If I already went through all those bureaucracy to get my concealed carry permit, I don't think I have the necessity to come to the town of Weston and apply for a permit, so I can comply with the local law. We already went through all of that, to the state level and federal level. So pretty much that's my point is I'm also a proud member of the National Rifle Association. And again, a criminal always going to be a criminal, and no matter what kind of laws we have, they will get their hands to guns. And however, I'd rather have a law-abiding citizen with a firearm so he could protect himself and others in case of a bad situation could happen.
Thank you, sir. And can you state your address again? I don't think I caught it. I just have it.
From Underwater Street, Greenwich, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening to one and all. I appreciate that you are allowing me the opportunity to exercise my First Amendment rights, specifically the right to peacefully assemble.
Sir, can you please give your name
Yes, I
and
can.
address? Thank you.
My name is Aaron Atwood. I hail from Danbury, Connecticut. I do not consent to giving my specific address. I feel just my hometown is good enough as is. I speak to you as a citizen and resident of Connecticut in the United States of America. I also speak to you as a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, and an internationally cultured one at that. I have been to many countries out in the Pacific, as well as recently a summer to Switzerland. I have seen gun control at both ends where it is very strict and yet very free on another end with equally good results. In Japan, as some of you may here know, they have among the strictest gun rights and gun laws of any country in the entire world, to the point of making states such as California, for instance, seem like Texas, and yet...
Sir, I'll ask you to confine your comments to how this ordinance impacts you in the town of Weston. Thank you.
Very well. In that sense, my reason for being here, besides getting that very nice orange card that you showed us earlier, I must say that I'm here because I signed up to defend the United States Constitution and support it against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I realize that what is going on here tonight may affect the rights that I swore to uphold and defend. And I do not feel that with my discharge, an honorable one at that, ended also my oath. I believe that oath for me is a lifelong one, and speaking as a veteran, and I hope I also speak for every other veteran in this room, I will not stand for any infringement on not just the Second Amendment right, but all of the amendments within the Constitution, as well as that of the state Constitution.
My name is Chris Duffy. I live in New Britain. I am on the executive board of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. I have a couple questions I'm asking for clarification. You state this is from 1990. According to this, any language bracketed is being deleted. On the third page, in brackets, under education, you have the Board of Selectmen strongly recommends that those using firearms, as herein defined, take a safety course on such use given by a state certified instructor. Is that a typo, or do you no longer support people getting trained?
This is not our changes. These are changes that were made in 1990. That's why we're looking to revisit this document.
Okay. I also want to state, you said you had the 3 initiatives: safety, storage, registration, and what you were incorrectly terming as high-cap magazines. You said that you dropped the safe storage and registration. Is there still talk on what you were incorrectly terming high-cap magazines? If so, why isn't it listed here? And how will people be able to understand or know that you are still talking about that issue?
First of all, as we had stated from the beginning, the problem is that this document is so old it needs to be revisited for exactly the problems that you're raising here today. So, you just stated really one of the primary issues as to why we need to review that. Second of all, Mr. Tracy did put out a press release on Monday stating that he feels that perhaps we should table the discussion until we wait and see what happens at the state and federal level.
After we give the people a chance to speak, after we give the people a chance to speak, then the 3 of us will discuss whether we're going to accept Mr. Tracy's recommendations or whether we're perhaps going to make additional recommendations. That's what the purpose of this meeting was. But we felt it was important that we hear particularly from our residents so we know what it is they would like us to do.
Okay, and my last question for clarification would be, if these are rules put in place here in Weston, any rule that you may come up with, will they only be for residents, or will they be for anyone traveling through your town? How will you enforce those, or even let people know that you have different ordinances than the other surrounding cities, towns, etc.?
You're absolutely correct. That's one of the issues that You're absolutely correct. That's one of the issues that we have identified
And something that we feel we need to address. You're absolutely right, sir, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank